Daddy. I'm the cutest little flower man.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to
Stop the wedding! I'm John Dory, Branch's long lost brother.
What?
Cool. Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? Are we doing good? Oh, I love the R2 unit. So cute. Awesome. Is everyone having a good Saturday at Megacon? Cool. I love the energy in here today. I am very, very excited to welcome our first guest today. I mean, we've got the wonderful, the incredible Vivien Lyra Blair. Awesome. Cool. Let's give a warm welcome to her. Come on. Awesome.
Hello.
What's up? How's it going?
Pretty great. I've had a lot of fun at this convention before, whatever to hear. I can't speak today. Okay.
That's okay. I'll help you speak.
Yes.
Yeah, is it your first time here in Orlando?
Yeah, it is. It's my first time in Florida, actually.
Wow. Well, welcome to Florida. Have you been to Disney yet? I have to ask.
I haven't. Everybody asks. I think it's the biggest tourist attraction here.
Definitely.
I've been to Disneyland more times than I can count. We actually live pretty close.
Cool.
But I have not been to Disney World. What we're planning on doing, since I have to work on Monday, is we're gonna come back on like summer break, and we're gonna bring Dad, and we're going to make it like a family trip to Universal and Disneyland for like 2 weeks.
That'll be so much fun. I hope you have a lot of fun. Let's start at the very beginning. What was your first introduction to Star Wars, and were you a fan before you got cast?
Yes, I was. I started when I was very young. My mom had these golden books, and she gave them to me, and they were just like little stories, like maybe shortened versions of movies. There were a lot of Disney ones, and so there was a few Star Wars ones that they weren't like very in detail. It just kind of summed up the Star Wars story, introduced you to the characters at like a very minor level, since I was still only like 2 or 3 when I was reading these. And I read them, and I had immediately taken to Princess Leia. I thought she was awesome and such a strong female leader. I really just loved reading about her over and over again, and I loved reading about the scenes between her and R2-D2 because he was one of my other favorite characters. I've always been a robot person. And
So you loved Leia already. What was
did.
it like when you found out that you were going to play her?
I mean, it was insane. Like, I knew so much about Leia before then. I remember there's this one story my mom always likes to tell where she was taking me to dance class one day when I was really little, and I had to wear a bun every time I went to ballet. And we were kind of rushing. We had been trying to eat or something, and Mom ended up, like, I had pigtails that day, so she had ended up twirling them into the Leia buns. And then when she went into the elevator, she went, "Oh, you look like Princess Leia." And I said, General Leia, Mom.
That's right. That's right. That's so cool. Well, I think I speak for all of us when I say Carrie Fisher would be incredibly proud of your performance. I'm going to get emotional just thinking about it.
Thank you.
I mean, I've got chills already. What's it been like playing the younger version of an already established character, and what did you do to prepare for the role?
Well, actually, this is very interesting. Deborah did not want me to over-prepare. She said that I was already so much like Carrie Fisher and the character, and I knew so much about her that anything else would seem over-rehearsed and unnatural, which is what Leia is anything but. So I ended up... I did kind of like midway through the audition process re-binge the Star Wars series because we kind of had a good guess at that point. So I was like, well, I mean, I didn't know yet, so it couldn't be counted. but yeah, so like I definitely familiarized myself with the series before I like went on set, but like I never really really tried to really focus on like watch all of Carrie Fisher's movies, you know, like try and copy every little twitch and stuff, you know, like I just I don't feel the need for it. Number one, you know, if you've been cast to play a character, then you've been cast because you can play that character. Like, there's no need to over prepare for it before shooting, you know? If you're prepared enough in the audition, you're prepared enough for shooting. And yeah, but, like, I did familiarize with myself with the series because the last time I had watched it was, like, a year, 2, 3 maybe ago.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Like, in the Star Wars series?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. That's difficult.
Just all of them? All of them?
I love them all so much, but I feel like, and I know some, like, older Star Wars fans will hate me for this, but I like the prequels.
Yeah.
I like them a lot. I think I just really like knowing things, and so I always like prequels and origin stories because then like I know more about the character, and I love to know things. So I think that's why I'm especially taken with the prequels. Also because like Hayden and Ewan play the characters, you know, and
of course,
and they're who I've been working with and have met many times. So,
how has it been working with Ewan and Hayden?
Well, they are just amazing people. I think they are just incredible. I loved working with both of them. Of course, I didn't get to see Hayden a lot because obviously we wouldn't have any scenes together. But Deborah wanted to make sure that I met Hayden. You know, I was very excited. I had really liked Hayden in the prequels. I thought he had done a really good job. So I was very excited, and so she took me over one day. I was kind of like in the middle of filming a scene. I maybe have been like on lunch break or something, and they were filming the flashback scene when Anakin and Obi-Wan are like doing the sword fighting stuff.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because they had the dots on their face to make them look like younger.
That's right.
Which I didn't feel the need for, but apparently they did. So so they had that, and then she took me over, and I met Hayden, and he was awesome. And then, of course, I met him again at Celebration when I came out on the stage. I think quite a few fans here have said that they were there, so they would know what we were talking about. And then I just actually saw him in the green room when I walked by, and we just said hi as I came over here. So
I love that. So you've had a fantastic time on set in Star Wars. I watched one of your panels a little while ago, and you said you feel very excited about wanting to prove yourself as an actor surrounded by a bunch of other older actors. How do you go about that? Like, how do you feel about being surrounded by such older actors and as a child actor?
I don't really see like much difference between like me and an adult actor. Like, we're both humans, and if we get along, it doesn't really matter how old we are, you know. So I hang out with a lot of adults on set because usually I'm the only kid there. So especially like on Obi-Wan. Of course, Grant was there, but we were never allowed to even know about each other. Because, you know, there is this one picture, though, of us after set. I had gotten changed, and I still had my hair in, like, buns because I had wanted to keep it that way. And I had come by Grant's dressing room, and we had a picture, and he was in costume, and I had my buns and, like,
cute.
a long dress, you know.
Love that.
And it's this really cute picture that I think a lot of fans would flip over.
Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of dresses, I'm sure you had a lot of amazing costumes. I mean, seeing the show, you had so many amazing ones. Do you have a favorite?
Oh, yeah. I feel like I've heard this one before. And I gotta say it's the last one. The final white one, because I think it's so much Leia, and it just embodies her. And especially there was this one photo I took where I have that outfit on, and it's got like the braided buns, you know, so it's like kind of evolving how it comes from like this to this to this to this finally, you know. So it was really cool, and I had Lola in the holster.
Oh, yeah.
So like Lola, they made sure that the holster I had Lola fit in there, so she could just slip in there, and like that's how I held Lola. So
Aw.
it was really cool. Yeah.
So I do have a burning question. Were you able to keep the Lola from the show?
No.
Oh no.
I will say though, those Lolas were expensive. They
Really?
were very like heavy, expensive pieces of animatronic. People have asked me like mostly the R2 builders and stuff. They've asked me like how many Lolas there were, you know, just to kind of get a feel for what the props department was like on set and like how they made the Lolas and stuff. There were about 8 different Lolas that they used throughout the scenes. So like there were different styles. Like once you think about it, this makes sense because there had to be broken Lola because she had to be broken at that point.
That's right. Yeah.
But since scenes film out of order, she would have to look not fixed but not yet broken.
right.
So there's like broken Lola, animatronic Lola, prop Lola, Lola on a string, evil Lola.
Evil Lola. Was that scary? Having an evil Lola?
It was actually kind of weird because it was one of those things where the vent scene where I'm like kind of slap fighting with
Yeah.
Lola. I had to like fight with her, but of course she had to be controlled.
Right.
So that was a weird day because it was
weird
second
day.
unit. We were like refilming it. I was in basically like a cardboard box. It was very tiny and it
yeah.
only had like one entry goal and there were like stairs. It was very weird. But
Yeah.
then I was in there and there were all the wires all over and they had to like teach me the movements on how to fix the wires, which I have no idea how Leia knew, but movie magic.
She's smart. She's smart.
And then Lola, what they had to do is they had to like cut a hole in the cardboard box thing, and then they had to have Lola on a string come in. Like, I know that sounds weird. Let me just take a minute to explain what Lola on a string is. Basically, whenever Lola's flying, obviously the actual animatronic cannot fly. So what they did was they had this like, it looked like a robotic grabber kind of thing, and it was attached to Lola. And they painted it green so that they could later edit it out. And they just had somebody. There was an entire Lola department.
Wow.
I've also heard that like Doctor Who has a whole Dalek department, so it was very similar to that. Like props handled all the like Astromax and other droids, but Lola was so important, and there had to be so many of her that she had her own department. Obviously, it was called the Kiki department at that time because there were code names. Maybe not that, obviously.
Right.
I just keep saying that. You know, but there were code names because nobody can know.
Right.
So, but yeah, the Lola on a string is like this animatronic thing that like they would have a controller from the Lola department just go like that, you know? So it was kind of hard to fight with because I couldn't pull on it too hard or else it might come
Right.
off the grabber.
Exactly.
So I had to kind of like gently
Yes.
slap it,
Right.
you know? Which was kind of an awkward position to do. I was just like,
Well, it looked great. It looked great on screen.
but yeah, that was kind of odd to do, but it was cool. And then I had to pull the restraining bolt off, which was actually hard to do because like it was hard to do because it wasn't hard to do because like it just came off like that. But I had to make it seem like it couldn't come off, and I
Right.
had to like rip it off,
Acting,
you know.
yeah.
So I had to really pretend because I had to be like. Trying to like hold her down and grabbing it, but really it would have just been you know.
Of course.
So
of
like
course.
it was kind of hard because I like had to look like I was pulling hard, but not really pull
Right,
hard.
exactly.
You know?
So basically, you love droids, is what you're saying. You love robots
Yeah.
and everything. Now, as Lola being your sidekick on the show, if you could choose any droid to be your sidekick in real life, who would you choose?
Okay, I've actually got a very clear answer for this, and his
Okay.
name is R4DT. I
R4DT.
think if anyone was ever on Obi-Wan Kenobi's set, they would know what I'm talking about because I made it very clear how much I love that droid. Basically, he was just this droid that appeared in one scene, It was when in the scene where I buy the green jacket and the gloves, he's driving by with like a background person who just kind of walks by, and he's like this white one, but it's got like spray paint all over it. It's a really cool design, and I just loved him for some reason. I was really close with the props people, because the props people are awesome on Star Wars, because they're what makes Star Wars. They have the lightsabers, they have the blasters, they have the droids, they have the thing that makes this its own thing, So I hung out with them a lot, and so they were really nice to me, and so they made it like drive up to me and say hi to me and do its little R2 scream. And it was so cute, So I was immediately taken with him, so much that I wouldn't let them get rid of him. They had to keep using him in other scenes, because I wouldn't let him go back to one of the prop masters' house, because I was like, no, he has to stay around. I'm not working unless he stays around. So eventually he came around on my birthday. He brought me a cake on my birthday, because I had my birthday on set. This is one of my favorite stories. They decked out my trailer room completely with party ribbons and stuff. They, yes, hi, I see you. Yes, and then they brought in these 5 droids that were full size, like that one. There were R2s, R5s, R4s, all different kinds. And they came in, they programmed them to beep happy birthday. It was so cute. And R4DT brought me a cake. It was a really good cake. It was a triple-decker bundt cake that was red velvet and chocolate chips. It was very good.
Making me hungry.
I know, right? And then, and it was so sweet. And then on my wrap day as well, he came and made 3D printed pins of this one droid. And then for me, especially, they had 3D printed one of R4DT, and he came out with his little robot arm and he gave it to me. And it was so sweet. I have this picture on my Instagram of me hugging him after he gave it to me on my last day. And it was just so sweet, and I was so taken with him. And I always joke that if there's ever a red carpet premiere or something, I want to bring him as my date with a little bow tie.
That would be adorable. We will all advocate to make that happen. Yes. Definitely. Well, that's so cool. So, aside from Kenobi, you've been working on a ton of other different projects, right? So, what's the transition been like going from working on Kenobi to now acting in a very dark horror movie, which is Stephen King's The Boogeyman, coming out June 2nd, which is, I think, 2 days before your birthday?
It is.
Awesome.
Yeah,
how's that been?
It was really cool. Boogeyman was kind of finished filming just as Obi-Wan came out. So that's the weird thing when you're acting, because everybody always forgets about the editing process and how it can take, I did this movie, and it took 3 years to edit it. So, you always think about, when it's released, and sometimes you think about shooting if you're really, intellectual, but, everybody forgets about editing. Even I do at some points, So, except the directors. Directors never forget editing. So, what happened with that is, I filmed Obi-Wan, and then Silence, and then I filmed The Boogeyman, and then Obi-Wan came out, and now The Boogeyman's coming out. So, it goes back and forth. So, you have to really be able to switch your mindset, because your mindset's in Obi-Wan, and then it's kind of wait, what's happening? And then your mindset's in The Boogeyman, and you're okay. And then your mindset has to be back in Obi-Wan, and you're wait, no. And then it has to be back in The Boogeyman again, but still in Obi-Wan, because you do these conventions for Obi-Wan. And so it has to still be in Obi-Wan, but you also have to keep Boogeyman as half your mindset, because it's being released soon, and you have to promote it and all that stuff. And so then you're press, and then wait, and then press, and then hold on, and then shooting, and then hold on, and now my brain's exploding. So it's been weird. I can say that. But honestly, it's also been really fun. Doing these conventions is awesome. I get to meet all my fans and sign lots of autographs, which I worked very hard on, by the way, my signature. And it's just so fun. I especially love these Q&As. They're so fun. I love answering questions. That's just something weird about me. And but yeah, I really have a lot of fun with these. And the Boogeyman is awesome. We did a casting crew screening. I got to know the receptionist very well with my dad because we both walked out at about 5 minutes after the movie started and didn't come back until about 2 minutes until the movie ended.
Oh gosh. Is that scary?
Yes, it is very scary.
Really?
But like really, really good. Like the shots I saw turned out absolutely incredible. Like it is just amazing what everyone has put into the Boogeyman, and I am just so happy that I'm a part of it. It's really good, and I can't wait for you all to see it.
Awesome. Well, Stephen King's incredible, and I'm sure you're going to be incredible in it. I know I'm definitely going to go see it. I'm sure everyone else is going to go see it. Yeah, so what's your favorite? You mentioned conventions and loving Q&As. What's your favorite part of any convention?
Well, I think probably the Q&As. I love doing these. They're so fun. I just get to sit and answer questions, you know.
Yeah, and speaking of questions, if you guys have any questions, we have 2 mics on the aisles. If you guys want to ask questions, just start lining up, and yeah, we'll get to those very soon. Very cool.
Audience questions. I love these.
Yes, it'll be a lot of fun. Do you want to wrap up anything? Do you want to mention anything else about the Boogeyman? Or Kenobi?
Well, the Boogeyman, I thought was really cool because I got to work with Miss Sophie Thatcher, awesome human being, which she was in Boba Fett. So
that's right.
We got to, you know, work together and both share our
bond
Star
over
Wars
Star Wars.
experiences.
Yeah.
Actually, Boba Fett filmed at the same studios, I think, like on the other side of the studios as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No way.
Pretty much at the same time. Like when we were mid-shooting, they were finished, you know?
Cool.
So like at the same studio. So I got to see Robert again because he directed me
Robert
in
Rodriguez.
We Can Be Heroes, and he was directing a few episodes of like Mando and Boba Fett, so we got to go over and see him and say hi and stuff. But like it's so funny because we were like right next to each other, but we never said hi, and then we booked a movie together, you know? Right. So it was really fun to get to work with her. Chris Messina is also awesome, amazing human beings all around on that set, and also incredibly talented. I think there's a lot of talent, not only in the actors, but also in things most people don't think about, like the cinematography.
Of course.
Like the camera operator, Eli, the most amazing and beautiful shots. Like, it's just incredible what people on that set did, and I am just so excited to see what you all think of it, because I think you're going to love it.
Of course. And among the incredible actors, we have you as well, so we're very excited to see you in it. Yeah. Let's start over here on the right.
Okay. Hi, Vivien. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
So far, so good. Thank you very much. Okay, so my biggest question for you is that have you thought about voicing for a cartoon or animated movie?
Ooh, very interesting. I have actually. I don't really do much VO. Like I had a few auditions, you know, but then I think my live action career really kind of just took off, and I started getting pretty busy with that, and like I really just didn't do much VO auditions anymore. I'm not sure if I'd ever like want to get back into that. I think it could be fun. And it would also be fun to be like a celebrity guest voice kind of thing on like an animated show, you know. But I think for now I'm just kind of focusing on my live action stuff.
Okay, thank you, Vivien.
Great question. And let's start on the left as well in this amazing cosplay.
Hi, I'm curious what it was like on set, because you mentioned the cardboard box when you were slapping Lola, so.
Well, honestly, apart from that, because that was second unit, and second unit is kind of difficult, like, not for anyone there. Everyone there is always nice, you know? But it's just because most of, like, the sets and stuff are used in Unit 1 when you're shooting at the same time at Unit 2. So you have to be a bit creative with Unit 2 because you don't have as much, you know, to work with. So I think that was, like, a little bit difficult, but honestly, the sets were amazing. I don't know if any of you have heard of The Volume, but it's this really cool thing that they do so that actors don't have to act to a green screen, and it's actually showing what you're actually seeing watching it. So like when I was on the balcony on Alderaan with Jimmy, we were looking out and I could actually see Alderaan. Like as little details, not just a picture of like a spaceship flying by and the trees moving in the wind and like all that really fun stuff. Like I actually got to see. Like I didn't have to like act to a green screen, and that made it a lot easier, to be honest.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that question. Right over here.
Hi, thank you. Vivien, nice to meet you. R2 is also my favorite character from the saga. My question, what was your first thoughts when you got to meet Ewan McGregor and, for a brief period, Hayden Christensen?
Well, Ewan was really awesome. I got to meet him first during the audition process in a chemistry read. He was super nice. I could tell like a little bit reserved, but I think that was only because he didn't know if I was the choice yet. So he didn't want to become like too partial to any choice, and then like they don't choose that person, and then he maybe like doesn't feel right with the other girl or whatever, you know. So like stuff like that, I think he didn't want to get too partial to anyone, so he kind of just pulled back and did the lines, you know, the way he could. And I didn't really care. I completely understood it. I was like, yeah, that's fine. And then when I actually booked it and we started getting to talking a little bit more, he is just absolutely incredible. So kind, so caring, you know, to really everyone. And he was always so accommodating to anything that happened on set, you know, working late and stuff. And it was really incredible, and I think I learned a lot from working with him about acting and really life in general.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Right over here.
Hey Vivian, thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem. A lot of fun.
So theoretically, if Disney asked if they were wanting to shoot an Obi-Wan Kenobi season 2, would you be down?
Absolutely. I would love to do a season 2. Currently, it's been a little bit silent. We are mostly focusing on PR for season 1 since we can qualify for the Emmys this year, since we couldn't last year. So they're doing like a big PR push for that. Hopefully that'll get me like my action figures and my pop dolls and stuff. We're hoping that's this year. Double crossies. And then we're not sure about like any rumors of a season 2. I'm not exactly sure how I could fit in, since it's pretty widely speculated that she doesn't see him again until she's 20 and saying, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. So I think it's kind of been a minute, so I don't really see how I could fit in. It would probably be really about Luke this time. So I think like I could probably maybe be like a little cameo at the end of the series, show Leia in her bedroom, you know, it's just like a callback to the first season if they did do a second season. But I don't think I would be as main of a part of it. So what we're really hoping for is that there's a Leia growing up show in the works. So hopefully we can get that, which I think would be super fun.
Awesome. Thank you. Right over here.
Hi. I'm Carlos Rodriguez, and loved your performance, by the way.
Thank you.
Been wondering, how do you manage to balance your career and your regular school life?
Well, I am actually homeschooled, so my mom is my teacher, and she's incredibly flexible with stuff like that. She doesn't usually make me like do school at these conventions and stuff. She makes it very accommodating for set life, and set, of course, also knows about that. So I have my studio teacher or a healthcare worker that helps me do school in breaks on set. So like I do kind of, do school on set and offset, but it's incredibly flexible. Although, at this convention, I did see my mom slip my language arts curriculum into the bag when I wasn't looking, so we'll see.
Wow. Thank you. Right over here.
Hi, I'm Kimberly. I love your work.
Thank you.
So, my quick question is, how much time do you spend at home? Because you're saying you spend a lot of time on set, and then you also have schoolwork. So, do you really have time to go home and relax with your parents and such?
Of course I do. Acting comes in little spurts because you have shooting, and then it goes silent for about a 3-month period, which we get to do stuff like Disneyland and Universal, and I hang out with my friends and I see my parents. And then there'll be another little spurt of maybe PR for a show I did before, which will be kind of a longer period, and then I'll get a little bit of shorter break, maybe shoot again, start doing press again, and then I'll get a longer break, an even longer break that's 5 months. And it's kind of odd because there's, when you finish a show, there's the week after where you're finally I'm free, I can hang out with my friends, I can see my parents, and I don't have to worry about this for another year until editing is done. And then the next week, you kind of have this, wait, if I'm not working, what am I doing with my life? Why am I even here? What is my purpose? And this kind of existential crisis-y moment. And then the next week, you're oh wait, now I'm getting auditions again. That's cool. And then maybe you do a few self-tapes here and there, you hang out with your friends and your parents, maybe go to a theme park or something, and then maybe you book something else and you start working again, and then PR starts to happen for the movie you shooting before, and you're oh, that was soon. And then you start doing all this stuff and you start getting back to it again, and then you're oh yeah, I'm fine, I'm doing fine. And then again, the week of, I'm finally free of all that, I can hang out with my friends. Oh no, what is my purpose in life? So,
I think you found your purpose. You're an incredible actor.
But I think these conventions really help with that feeling, because now I get to kind of be in the Star Wars universe again for a second, and then get a week off, and then do it again, and then get a 3 weeks off, and then do it again, and it kind of gives me a little bit of something to grab onto, so I'm not just completely free of any work, because that's kind of nerve-wracking, but I'm not too busy where the fact that I can't do anything hang out with my friends, so.
So, thank you.
Thank you. I can really relate to that, though.
The life of an actor. Right over here, Ahsoka.
Oh, hello. I agree. Those prequels are my favorite of the Star Wars franchise as a whole. But I would like to ask you, since you played the child of two superheroes in We Can Be Heroes, what if you could have superpowers? What superpowers would you have and why?
Ooh, I actually got this question a lot when I was doing press for We Can Be Heroes. I remember getting this one a lot, and I kind of forgot about it, but I remember that my answer was always, I would love to talk to animals. Anything, I would love to talk to someone that is a different species than me. So I would love to be able to talk to droids or to talk to animals or anything like that, and be able to connect with something that's different than me.
Very cool. Right over here, baby Leia.
That costume's really
My name
awesome.
is Lola. This is Lola.
Oh, your name is Lola.
And then ask your question. When did you have most fun? When did you have most fun? On set. On set.
Ooh, when did I have the most fun on set? Well, I liked doing the falling off the building stuff. I think that was really fun doing the stunts. I think mostly because the stunt coordinator was super nice, and when I was in the harness, he would let me swing on it like a swing and go really high. And then there was one hard part of it though, where I had to be falling, but I had to be movie falling. So I had to be suspended in midair, just moving my legs and arms in this really awkward position that felt like a sit-up or a crunch, So I was just sitting like that for an hour, moving my legs and my hands, which by the way only counted for about 0.25 seconds of the actual show. So, yep. And then yeah. So it was a quick one, but it was really fun to do the actual grabbing on and then falling, The only part I didn't do, which I cannot take credit for, is the actual grabbing the wire, like jumping off and grabbing the wire. I did the start of the jumping off, and then I did the hanging from the wire and falling, and then I did the landing. But the actual jump and grabbing the wire was my stunt double, Miss Molly, and she...
Molly Miller, right?
Yeah.
I love her. She's awesome.
Yeah, but she did that part because I was too scared to do that part. So yeah, even I have my limitations.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Right over here, Wanda.
Hi, it's so good to talk to you. You did a great job being Leia and Obi-Wan's little partner in crime. So you say you've been to Disneyland more times than you can count. Well, I have been to Disney World more times than you can count. So I'm wondering, fellow Imagineer fan to another, what is your favorite ride at Disneyland?
Ooh, I was just saying how much I like this question when I did it before. I gotta say Space Mountain. I love Space Mountain. It's so awesome. I love the mountains because I also really like Big Thunder Mountain at Disneyland. That one's really fun. And I've never actually been on the original Splash Mountain though, and now it's becoming like Tiana or something, which I'm excited to go on, but I've never actually been on the original. And then, yeah, so I got to do that, and then I also really like the Cars ride in Cars Land. It's really fun. Like, it's kind of hidden and it's next to Big Thunder Mountain, but with like the wall in between between Main Park and California Adventure. I'm talking about Disneyland, by the way. And it's really fun. It goes really fast, and you get to go in like a car and stuff, which I really enjoyed, even though it's kind of like tucked in the back a little bit. And then also the Guardians of the Galaxy one, Tower of Terror, that one's awesome.
That's my favorite at Disneyland. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay. Now I could talk about Disneyland rides forever, so I think I'm going to cut it there. But honestly, they're all just awesome.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you. All right, and our last question.
This last one's probably going to be like a 2-in-1 kind of thing. But my first question is, would you ever play in a Harry Potter scene?
Ooh, yes. I love Harry Potter. I think it would be so fun to do something in that world, the wizarding world. And I am just a super fan of the book series. I've read it like every year, basically, for my entire life. And honestly, I gotta say, my best friend, she's an even bigger Star Wars fan, or Harry Potter, I always say that, Harry Potter fan than I am, and I think she would just die if I was ever in anything related to Harry Potter, so I think it would be really fun to do, yeah.
And my second question is, how old were you when you did shoot your part in the Star Wars movie?
I was 8, and then as I told my birthday story, I turned 9 on the set, and then I am currently almost 11.
Okay.
Thank you very much. This was so much fun. Thank you, yes. Vivien, for coming on stage.
Thank you, guys. There were some really awesome questions out there, and I had a lot of fun.
And thank you again for bringing all of our favorite character in Star Wars to life. You've done an incredible job, truly.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Awesome. Cool. I think we're good, unless you have any other lasting sayings?
I don't really think so, but
Awesome. Okay.
just a quick reminder that Boogeyman is in theaters June 2nd. I'm very
That's
excited
right.
for you all to see it.
Very cool. And where can they find you after this? Will you be at your booth?
Well, yeah, I'm going to be signing more autographs, and then, actually, I'm going to lunch after this, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to sign more autographs, and then, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming out. This was great.
Yes.
All right.